What's up, everybody? It's your girl D. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be discussing some maybe possible secret questions you guys have about breast cancer. I'm going to be answering such questions such as, what does a breast sparing surgery, aka a lumpectomy, look like? Why do some women have to do a full mastectomy whereas other women can get away with a lumpectomy? And what is recurrence? And is a person considered cancer free? There's a difference between chemo and radiation. Without further ado, we're gonna jump in today's video, but before we do, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out my GoFundMe. Please donate if you have the means to do so. I will greatly appreciate it in this time of need.
I'm here at the beach, Coney Island. And this would probably be the best non-scandalous way to show you guys my incision of what a lumpectomy looks like. And today is the Mermaid Parade. So, true to my mermaid nature, while I'm still in recovery, I just wore a simple little outfit. The first scar I have to show you guys is right here. It is under my armpit, and this is the part of me where they removed 3 lymph nodes, and these lymph nodes were tested to see if they had cancer in them. If any one of the 3 lymph nodes had cancer in them, then they would have told me that I needed chemo. But thankfully, neither one of them came back with cancer in it, which means my cancer didn't spread. It is just local, meaning that it's going to be in my breast, and that should it ever return, it will return in my breast, not in a different organ of my body. So that is the first one. And the second one I have is more scandalous, which is why we had to be at the beach to do this. So this is the second scar that I have. It's right next to my nipple. My nipple showing where they took my tumor out. The scar was originally longer, but it's starting to come out. This is like a lot of dried blood right now with stitches, but when it heals, it's gonna look more like the top here and here, which is where the waterproof stitches are starting to come out. My breast also changed a little bit on the side where the tumor was removed. It feels firm, like as if when you go to the supermarket and try different textures of tofu, and it's pretty firm here, but that's because my breast is still healing. So when it heals, this will no longer be this ugly. It will look more like a healed scar, which I have on my abdomen where they took out what they thought was a cancerous mole years ago, which is somewhere here. It will look basically like nothing once it heals. So other than it changing texture and just having that scar there, it feels like pretty okay. And I still have a breast, which is good. And when I raise my arm, the only thing you could see that's different is that it slightly indents a little bit. But other than that, it's not a big deal. You know, I get to keep my breast and I get to keep my hair. So in the unlucky lottery of getting cancer, I got, I guess, the best case scenario. So with a lumpectomy, there's many women that get a lumpectomy. You can get lumpectomies for having cysts. You can have a lumpectomy for having a precancerous tumor and different things that are happening inside the breast. But the telltale sign that a person got a lumpectomy for cancer would be the scar under the armpit, because in no other situation would they have to test your lymph nodes. My bigger breast is my left breast, and when they removed the tumor, I asked the doctor if I would see my breast go down in size, and she said up to 2 lumps, aka tumors, you don't really see a breast size change. So the only way I could really tell, from what I can tell, my left breast is still my bigger breast despite the tumor coming out. And the way that I can tell that is when I lean forward, my left breast hangs lower than my right breast, which means that it is still my bigger breast despite having a tumor removed. can some women get away with doing a lumpectomy while others have to do a full mastectomy? There is a lot that goes into this. First of all, if you get diagnosed with breast cancer, it depends on how many tumors you have, the stage that you're at, and the placement of them. In my case, I am stage 1. I had one tumor that measured 1.8 centimeters after they removed it. It was in one place, and I'm stage 1. I had a friend that is stage 0. However, she had 4 tumors in one breast, so she ended up having to do a mastectomy, because once they remove the tumors, you'll be left with nothing and you'll just have a flattened breast. So it makes sense to then do a mastectomy and get an implant. Breast cancer usually starts in your milk ducts, but for some people it can start at the nipples, and sometimes the nipple has to come off. In my case, I was very fortunate and I got to keep my nipples as well. There is still a spot in my right breast that they're watching, which is right here, and this part could turn cancerous because it's a fibroadenoma, but when it was biopsied, it isn't cancerous, but it has an irregular margin, which means that for the next couple of years, they're going to be watching this spot on my breast, because I may end up having to do a future lumpectomy. If cancer is found early enough, you are given the option to do a mastectomy if you just want to get rid of any potential tumors popping up and you want to skip radiation and chemo. In my instance, if I were to skip radiation, my doctor would then suggest to me that I should do a full mastectomy because I'd be running the risk of it returning. So what is cancer exactly? Cancer is millions of cells clustered in one spot. That's what creates a tumor, right? When they do surgery, they remove this tumor. But there's a possibility they could have left these microscopic cells behind, which is what causes recurrence. Recurrence is when a new tumor sprouts up. So I am not cancer free until I make it to 5 years without recurrence happening. If no new tumors pop up anywhere else in either breast, then for the next 5 years, which would be May 12, 2028, then I would be able to say I am cancer free. With surgery alone, my odds are at 60% of being a 5-year survivor, which means that it gives me 60% odds to make it to 5 years without cancer coming back. But with radiation, my odds would be boosted to 90%. I'm not going to be doing hormone therapy because I am still not diagnosed if I have seizures or strokes, and they cannot safely put me on medication to treat my hormones. So this is still under discovery. In addition to that, I'm still going to be doing holistic treatment, because when they say they're watching this spot, they're actually not doing anything for this spot. It's just they kind of leave it up to nature and the will of God, I guess, to see that if it would turn into anything. But with holistic medicine, it would be like a prevention that would help it. So chemo targets the whole body. It's an injection and it helps fight cancer throughout the body, whereas radiation is a laser that targets that one specific area that had the cancer. So when they're going to be doing radiation on this one breast, it doesn't do anything for this other breast that could potentially have cancer come up.
So even after recording this part of the video that I just said, I found out later on that there is something that they do which is called an oncotype. This is a score that they give to your tumor. It tells you how likely recurrence is based off your score. The score goes 1 to 100. My score was 22, which because I'm younger than 50, that means that I would have a 6.5% benefit of doing chemo. So my doctor did suggest to me that I should do chemo, and I declined because of nerve damage that I have, because chemo would cause more nerve damage and I would only be getting a 6.5% benefit of doing it. So it wasn't worth it to me. I am still going to be doing radiation. Alright, so this is what my breast looks like 3 months post-op. It's just a line. basically, right there.
And that is all I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Jerry.
Stay classy, Coney Island.